What's happening, everybody? I appreciate checking in. All right, the biggest hiring news of the 2025 offseason just dropped. It's official. We have hired John Spytek, the former assistant GM over with the Bucks. He is now officially the new GM for our Las Vegas Raiders, and I'm excited about it. I'm definitely giving you my take on it. You know, he has a lot of connections, obviously, to our front office, some individuals, some of our ownership, and we're going to break this thing down. But I am definitely excited, and not necessarily because of his history and experience, but for other reasons. And these are reasons I have stated in other lives when I do go live, and as well as some videos that I have posted in the past. But I'm definitely excited about this, and I'm going to share my take on it, and I want to get your take on it as well. But before we get into it, one thing I do want to address is Darth Vader M4, man. You were the winner of my previous giveaway. I kind of surprised you guys with one. You emailed me back. I got you your giveaway. We're squared away. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the support, from all my viewers and my subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough. Just a way of saying thank you and show my appreciation. So if you want to be included in my next giveaway, I'm going to drop it at 4,500 subscribers. So as soon as I hit 4,500, I'll hit you with that next giveaway. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, but also make sure you turn on those notifications so you do know when that giveaway does go down. And so let's kind of get into this, right? John Spytek, for the last two GM cycles, I guess I would say, he was definitely a hot name. A lot of people were reaching out to him. He was doing a lot of interviews. And so he kind of is that young and up and coming GM that was really ready to take that next step, that next leap into that official GM position. Because look, he was the assistant GM over with the Bucks, like I said at the start of this video, and he's got 21 years of experience in the NFL. And one of the things that is, I think, a very big key to having success as a GM is he was really involved in the player personnel, right? The scouting departments, evaluating college talent. I know that he had a big hand also within free agency. And so his ability to identify talent and how it applies to the league or even the system that your team is dealing with. So for example, whenever you're looking at free agents, when you're looking at talent within the draft, you have to understand, how does that talent relate or intertwine with the offensive or defensive system that you're working with? And I think what he's been able to do is been able to marry that pretty well. You look at just how well the Bucks have been able to draft and identify free agents over the past few years. He's had a lot of success, right? And he was the assistant GM over there with the Bucks for 2 years. So he had a lot of hand in that. He had a lot of input. Now, was it his final decision? It wasn't, but being able to relay a lot of useful information to kind of get you to the end result of bringing certain guys in and drafting certain guys, I think you got to give him some credit for it. So it definitely does. It definitely is exciting. And then obviously you have the ties to Tom Brady, right? It's been reported that John Spytek is one of the main reasons why Tom Brady left New England and went to the Bucks to end his career. And that had to have been an extremely massive move by Tom Brady and decision to leave a dynasty, a franchise like New England, branch off to kind of prove that you can do it without New England, without Bill Belichick, go out and do it on your own. And he did it and he proved it. And John Spytek, I think, had a big hand in that. And so, and you got to believe that if John Spytek had a big hand in that, and that he was able to kind of sell this Bucks organization to him at that time, right? Show Tom Brady that you were putting all the right pieces together, that you were bringing in certain pieces into the organization that's going to help him accomplish his goal of a Super Bowl, and they did it. So again, you got to give Spytek a lot of credit. Definitely something to be very excited about. And so as much as I am excited that John Spytek is there, we finally have a GM in place. The one thing that I am I'm cautiously optimistic. He's a brand new GM. He's new to being the head guy in this front office as the GM. And so he's been an assistant for 2 years. He's got a lot of experience, but we got to kind of see, how does he handle being the top guy, right? So I'm cautiously optimistic. His biggest test is coming up right around the corner. It's free agency. How is he going to attack free agency? How is he going to attack the draft? Because again, with the Bucks, he didn't necessarily have the final say. And so let's just kind of see how he does, because he does have some decent shoes to fill. You could question whether or not Tom Telesco did a great job. I think Tom Telesco did a good enough job to not warrant being fired. I think this was kind of set up and they kind of set the stage for Ben Johnson. I think that's what the firing of Tom Telesco was. But at the end of the day, Tom Telesco, he nailed his first 3 draft picks with Brockbowers, JPJ, DJ Glaze. DJ Glaze was a guy that was kind of that sleeper. The guy that was kind of under the radar that definitely panned out for us. And I'm excited to see what he does. But he nailed the first 3 rounds, and he was able to attack free agency with Malcolm Kuntz going down and picking up Caleb Von Chasen and really developing him, or at least once he came into the building, Rob Leonard was able to kind of help and develop him, but he definitely found kind of a diamond in the rough to develop and kind of revive his career. And so as a whole, Tom Telesco did a fairly good job. And so now we got to see, how does John Spytek kind of match up to that? How does he attack the draft, and can he nail the draft similar to how the Bucks have in the recent years? And so he's got a big test in front of him. He is now the top guy, and let's kind of see how he can handle it. And so I'm excited. Don't get me wrong, I'm very excited. But let's just see if he can kind of step up to the plate and kind of repeat what the Bucks organization has done over the recent years. And so before I get to why I'm truly excited about the hiring of John Spytek and the timing of it, let me know in the comment section down below. How do you feel about this hiring? Rate it 1 to 10. 1, it's absolutely horrible. 10, he's going to do the best job you've ever seen a GM do. Let me know in the comment section down below. 1, are you excited about it? And 2, rate it 1 to 10. Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, here's the reason why I am excited. Not only that we hired the GM, as well as just the timing of it, right? I did want Ben Johnson. I really liked the idea of having Ben Johnson in the building, but that has come and gone. Okay. But the one thing that I wasn't a big fan of was bringing in Ben Johnson and having him either dictate or have a massive say as to who the GM is, because I'm a big believer in you want to create the proper chain of command. And as it stands right now, I think we're starting to develop that, and I'm excited for it, right? Tom Brady is going to bring in his guy. He brought in John Spytek. John Spytek is the GM. And now John Spytek, and probably obviously with the input and collaboration of Tom Brady, they're going to identify who the next head coach is going to be, and they're going to bring him in. And so they're all going to work together. But my hope is that there's going to be a proper chain of command, right? You're going to hold everybody accountable. Tom Brady's going to hold John Spytek accountable. John Spytek is going to have a lot of input and hold potentially the head coach accountable and make sure that everybody is doing their job and doing it correctly. And so that's why I'm excited that we are finally getting to a point where the structure is correct. And, this is the first time since Reggie McKenzie. If you remember, Mark Davis did a very good job. When Al Davis passed and Mark Davis took the reins, he kind of knew that he didn't fully understand the football side of things. And so he brought in Reggie McKenzie. Reggie McKenzie, his first stint with the head coach didn't work out too well. Obviously, Dennis Allen was his first shot at it, but then that didn't work. He let him go, and then he brought on Jack Del Rio, right? Reggie McKenzie was bringing in head coaches that he felt would fit either the personnel or the direction that he wanted to go. And that led us to the playoffs. Okay. Now, obviously, Jack Del Rio didn't hang around too long after the playoffs, but at least it was being structured properly. All right. And we haven't had that since then. Jack Del Rio's out the building, Reggie McKenzie's out the building, and then we started with John Gruden. John Gruden brought in his guy, Mike Mayock. All right. And that didn't work out because Mike Mayock couldn't hold John Gruden accountable. John Gruden brought in Mike Mayock. And then we have Josh McDaniels. Same exact scenario. Josh McDaniels brought in Dave Ziegler. All right. Even though Dave Ziegler was hired on, I believe it was a couple days prior to Josh McDaniels, we all knew Dave Ziegler wouldn't have this job unless Josh McDaniels was there. All right. And they all knew that. This is why Josh McDaniels, rumor has it, reports came out that he overstepped Dave Ziegler and did not allow Dave Ziegler to trade up and get CJ Stroud. So we know who wore the pants in that relationship, who called the final shot. And in my opinion, you just can't have that in order to continue to find success. A lot of the successful organizations have the proper chain of command. And to me, it feels like this is the direction that we're going in, and I'm very excited about it. And not only does John Spytek have a lot of experience, but he's also young. He's young. I think he's going to be able to relate to a lot of these players in a different way, as opposed to maybe an older GM, that kind of has to figure out, how do I relate to the younger generation, or how do I relate to some of these younger coaches? Because I think that is the trend, right? The trend, and we don't know exactly who the head coach is going to be, but the trend is that you're trying to get some of these younger maybe offensive minded head coaches or just a younger minded head coach into the building. And I think when you sit at that table and you all try to figure out the direction and where this organization wants to go, I think you have some of these young minds sitting at that table that's going to take us into the direction that the majority of the successful organizations are going. And I'm excited about it. I'm very excited that we're finally getting back to a proper structure that I think a successful organization needs. And so it still remains to be seen how it's all going to work out. So I'm cautiously optimistic because the next step is now you got to find your head coach. That's the next step. And so let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think the next head coach is going to be for our Las Vegas Raiders? Let me know in the comment section down below. Obviously, the top name is Pete Carroll. That's what all the reports are saying, that the Raiders are now looking at Pete Carroll as the top guy on their list. And now, obviously, a lot of reports had us possibly bringing in Ben Johnson and officially hiring him, and that was all wrong. But that's the top name. And now what I will say is there's been some moves around this league that the Raiders, if you're going to make a move, you better make a move fairly quickly. Now, obviously, do your due diligence. I understand that. But make a move fairly quickly because you got Liam Cohen that's no longer on the market. He's decided to go take a pay raise and remain as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator. You also have the Jacksonville Jaguars that let Trent Baalke go. One of the questions is, are the Jags trying to basically create an environment to kind of go after their guy? And who is that guy? Is it a Pete Carroll? Is it a Mike McCarthy? Is it a Todd Monken? We don't know exactly who that is, but they're parting ways with Trent Baalke to kind of create or set the stage for their next move. And that move can happen fairly quickly. And so the Raiders, you got to kind of make sure that if the guy's out there, and the thing is that John Spytek and Tombrady, right? They've had interviews together. They've been able to discuss the direction that John Spytek wants to go. And obviously that is married well with what Tom Brady's vision is. That's the only reason why you would hire him and bring him on. And so I think there's a good chance you have an idea as to who you want as a head coach. And so because there's been some moving pieces now with some of the teams, with Liam Cohen now off the board. Now, again, Liam Cohen wasn't officially coming in for an interview, so I don't know if that's who was on their radar, even though Liam Cohen's with the Bucs. John Spytek just came from the Bucs. You never know if that was a hot name on their list. But my thing is, you might want to make some moves very quickly because I can see some head coaches starting to come off the board, and you don't want to miss on your guy. And if the reports are true and Pete Carroll is your guy, I could see Pete Carroll wanting to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right. Because Pete Carroll, he's 73 years old. Before he starts the job, he's already planning his exit strategy. And that's kind of one of the knocks I have on bringing in Pete Carroll. But if that is your strategy, there's a good chance that you don't want to wait around or try to figure out how do I get a quarterback and start to develop him. And now it's going to take you 2, maybe 3 years to develop that quarterback. By that time, you're out. You might want to go somewhere that already has an established quarterback. And the Jacksonville Jaguars have Trevor Lawrence. They have some young pieces over there to definitely build on right away. And so one of the things that I've said is that Pete Carroll could be a decent matchup for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So again, if the reports are true and Pete Carroll's on top of your list, Tom Brady, John Spytek, then you might want to start putting the pieces together and making some moves. So again, guys, just my take on it. I appreciate you sticking with me. If you can, hit that like button, subscribe, turn those notifications. My next giveaway is at 4,500 subscribers. So if you want to be including that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Again, let me know what your thoughts on John Spytek. Rate it 1 to 10. 1, hate the decision. 10, he's going to take us to the promised land. Let me know, but I appreciate you sticking with me. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.